If people don't trust you, they will never listen to you. So it got me thinking, what is the least trustworthy profession in all of America? Any guesses? Well, there was actually a study done, and I'll put the link in the description of this video, and it concluded that politicians are the least trustworthy occupation in all America. I know. Total shocker. It got me thinking, why do we trust people? It also got me thinking about trust falls. Remember those things that you would find at like corporate training events where you'd have a group of people and then one unlucky individual would have to trust all the people that they probably don't even like all that much to fall and hope that these people catch them? Well, in high school, I did trust falls, but I did surprise trust falls. Think of the wonderful trust building exercise that trust falls are, and just imagine the person who's being tested has no idea what's happening. I remember me and my friends would walk through the halls of my school and do surprise trust falls against our unsuspecting classmates. And most of the time I would just fall into them and fall on the ground. It was a great time. I even did it to a teacher one time, but she like fell on top of me trying to catch me. Sorry, Miss Hanson. That got awkward quick. But the funny part of this is every time I would do this, I would fall on the ground because no one ever caught me. But I would always look up at them and go, I thought I could trust you. Most of the time, they would just look at me like, what the heck are you doing? And they just leave me on the ground. Trust broken. That's a silly example, but every time you communicate, your audience is trying to judge whether or not they trust you and trust what it is that you're saying. I mean, why are politicians the least trusted profession? Because we don't trust them. Yeah, that made a lot of sense, huh? Whenever you get up to communicate in front of people, your audience is doing the exact same thing. Can I trust you? And can I trust what it is that you're saying to me? So hopefully you've done the work to prepare yourself to know who your audience is. And I've actually made a video about that. Check that out here on the screen. But you need to know who your audience is and know how you can build trust with them. I was recently listening to a talk, and this guy in the middle of his message started bashing millennials, how millennials want to be coddled, millennials want participation trophies, all the like stereotypical things that probably aren't even really that true. And instantly, this man lost all credibility with me. It didn't matter what he was saying. It didn't matter if he was sharing some really good info. I lost trust in him as a communicator, so his content meant nothing to me. At the beginning of any talk or communication or presentation, your audience is probably starting at something near neutral, and they're trying to determine, and they're taking into account the things you're saying, how you're acting, to determine whether or not they can or should trust you. Every time I communicate, I'm very strategic and intentional at utilizing the beginning part of my message to convince the audience that I am someone who can be trusted. I want to get people on board with my talk. I want to include them and highlight them. I want to make as many statements that people can go, yep, I agree with that. Yep, it's a nice day outside. Yep, I live in Texas. Yep, I'm a man. Yep, I'm a woman. Like things that are so obvious, but I'm trying to get little pieces of credibility. So that way, when I get to my call to action later, they've already been used to saying yes to me. They've built trust. You can even do this with humor. Humor is a great way to diffuse people and to get them to lower their walls so you can give them the content that you're wanting to give them. You can also do this by being vulnerable. Sharing personal stories is a great way to humanize yourself with the audience, to get them to say, he's kind of like me. At the beginning of this video, I shared a personal story of when I was in high school and was kind of immature, and I'm less immature now. But I just want you to see me as a person who understands what trust is and why it's important to gain that trust. But know this, after you've done the tough work of gaining trust with your audience through humor, through stories, through vulnerability, then and only then should you throw out a big ask. Only then should you throw out your call to action. Only then should you try to get them to respond in any way to what it is that you're saying. Because would you do something that someone you don't trust is asking you to do? Over the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to mentor a group of high school students who were football players. And the reason why I think this group went so well is not because of what I said was so awesome to them, but it was because I earned their trust. They're high school football players. I played football in college, and I think there was an instant camaraderie that they bought into me as a person, so that way they were willing to understand and receive what it is that I was sharing with them. Do the important work of earning trust with your audience. Please don't make the mistake of thinking that your content, your pitch, your product is so good that people will just eat out of your hand. No, sometimes the audience needs to make sure that your hand is clean. Here's an important piece to know. Speaking is your right. But communicating is a privilege that you earn from your audience. The goal of communication is connection, and no one wants to connect with someone they don't trust. Remember, your audience is on the fence. Your goal as a communicator is to get them to the side of trust. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation or a presentation and wondered, why is this guy so awkward? Well, if you haven't, maybe you're the awkward one. But just to be sure, check out this video so you're not having unintended awkward encounters. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, I would love it if you could subscribe. I'm trying to build a community here of people who love to communicate, a community of people who want to become people who others want to listen to. Have a great one.